Hey guys, so Friday, we're off today. It's a holiday here in Canada. I don't know if it's a holiday in the US or not for Easter. Maybe you guys are Monday, but anyways. So here working on the old short box build. As you guys know, we got the engine in. Now I had some problems with the computer and I was busy this week and I screwed up. But anyways, so I got the oil pump finished. You can see where I've tack welded this. I welded the backside of the pump. I was gonna pin it, but I ended up welding it just for simplicity's sake. So that is done. You know, you put that in, torque it in, your 25 foot-pounds. I also put a new oil cooler, rebuilt the bypass valve, put a new bypass valve and put a new pressure spring in. So that is all done, torqued down, good to go. Everything's Loctited. I did put a new water pump on. I think you guys really need to see you put a water pump on. So what today, so that's on the P pump 6-7 side of things. And I'm waiting for, right now, I'll have my rocker bridges next week. I'll have the rest of my, oh no, actually I have the keepers to put in. But I'll do that when I'm doing something else because I only got one cylinder left to do. I got some of the other ones I just slowly feed in apparently. The head studs will be here. Hopefully we'll be here next week. So I'm hoping that I can get, and then my adjustable timing gear will be here. Hopefully there again next week. So we can get some of that. I'd like to get I'm gonna have to pull the engine back out, but I wanted to get some other stuff mocked up first. But I'm gonna get the injection pump on. I'm gonna build the bracket off of this. I'm gonna build a few extra ones because I remember somebody actually asked, I can't remember who it was, but somebody did ask about the bracket that I build for this. So I'm gonna build a few extra ones just in case somebody wants one. Just easy to build and make sure, you know, I can build one, take it off and just mock it up, and then I'll keep one in stock all the time so that if I need to build one, I can. So I got the transfer case just sitting on here. Now, being that this transfer case is for a 47RH, the snout on it is too long. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to pull the transfer case out. This is the transfer case I'm gonna use, tear it apart, rebuild it. Is I gotta take it out and I gotta cut the snout off because you can see that's as far as it'll go in because it bottoms out on the shaft. Not a huge deal because we're doing an upgraded shaft anyway, so I gotta change the output anyway, or the input, sorry, anyways. Well, the input and the output, but on the transfer case side of the input. So that's what we're doing. I'm going to do the tranny mount today. I'm going to do that so I can get the drive shafts measured. I'm going now. I don't know on the drive shaft side of things because I forgot that this transfer case or transmission is a little shorter. So I'm going to fit the front drive shaft. I'm having to have it rebuilt regardless, but I'm going to get the front drive just sitting in there because I have one I can get in there. And then the rear drive shaft I'm going to measure so I can get my buddy Corey to do. I did talk to him. So he's going to let us come in, and I don't know if we'll be there for the whole process or not because it does take a little while. But I'll get him to take some pictures if nothing else. Maybe we'll be there for the balancing or something just to show you guys what's what. But I'm going to get both the front and the rear drive shaft rebuilt. And maybe I'll just leave him the GoPro, and if he wants to video it, he can. Yeah, we can go from there. But so that's what we're doing today. I'm going to get the transfer case fitted, the front drive shaft just sitting in there, the transmission mount, and then I might do a couple other things. I got to start fitting brake lines and stuff. So, you know, just see how far I get. There's nobody here to bug me. So I'm just going to work away at this, put tunes on and, you know, work away at it because I'd like to get a bunch of stuff on this thing. I would like to have this thing I need to have this thing way farther ahead than it is right now. So I might start plugging away on a little bit of the stuff on the engine side of things that I can do because there is some stuff without the parts that I don't have, I can't do, right? So it is what it is. Anyways, I'm gonna throw this into time lapse. Hopefully I don't screw the time lapse up like last time, and we'll catch you in a bit here. All right, guys. So I got the transfer case off. What I'm going to do is I got to slice a chunk of this off because this sticks out too far for a 48. Now I'm going to be changing this anyway when we rebuild the transfer case. I just threw it in the parts washer trying to wash some of the scuzz off of it and get it perfectly clean, but it's cleaner than it was. So I'm just going to cut part of this off so we can get that mated properly so we can measure some stuff. So I'll throw that into time lapse. So
So cutting this thing, I'm not really, you know, trying to make it perfectly straight. I don't really care if it is. Just needed it to go on there far enough. So transfer case fit in there.
All right, guys, so measuring drive shafts. This is not super hard to do. Usually your front drive shaft, you're not going to change around unless you're changing around, you know, transmission combinations with transfer cases and stuff. But the easiest way is to measure, is you measure from the bottom of your yoke in here, where the U-joint would sit up in there. And now you should talk to the guys that are doing your drive shafts, because not everybody's the same way. This is just the way that Corey likes to do it. Measure from there, and then measure the top, because it's not straight, right? The yoke straight. And then you get, and then you measure the top of the yoke. This is hard to do with one hand, but so you measure the top of the yoke like this. So basically you just want to know where the measurement is right here, and so that'll give you your measurement for your front to back. That's the easiest way to do it that I've found. Like, I know how to measure for the drive shaft properly, but it's easiest because then you're getting he's getting the information that he wants you to have. Now, so your rear drive shaft is the same idea. You're gonna put that down in there, just the same as you would on the front one. And then, now if you don't have your yoke on, which I don't have my yoke because I'm putting a brand new yoke, you want to measure to the end of the shaft, right here, well, right here. So we're basically, like, I would say we're about 41 3/4 is what I'm going to say. So that's the easiest way to measure drive shafts. Now we're gonna have to do some pinion angle adjust or checking and stuff, but obviously we'll have to do that when the drive shaft is in. That's the easiest way to do that, because basically we're gonna measure see what it is here and see what it is on the other side, and then we'll adjust it. Anyways, that's for the drive shaft side of things. So I got the transmission on, obviously on. I'm seeing that in time lapse. I put the mount on just with a couple bolts, just to make sure we got everything sitting where we're going to. That's the angle the engine is going to sit on. It's kind of all sitting where I want. There's lots of clearance where I needed clearance and all that jazz. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to test fit the P-pump. This is the P-pump I'm going to use. This one is a 180 max and balanced. I was going to use a 215 horse pump, but I sold the 215 horse pump to somebody. So being that I sold that to somebody, I obviously can't use it. So we're going to use this one for now, and if we run out of fuel with the injectors, maybe I'll put a bigger pump on it, or maybe I'll pull the one off the race truck with a 13 mil on it or something. I'm not sure what we'll do just yet, but we'll use this one to start with till we max this one out. I would like to have a 215 horse as when I'm daily driving this. I'd rather have the 215 horse. They're a nicer pump, in my opinion. But we're going to run this one for now, but I'm going to put this on here with just a couple nuts so it's sitting, and I'm going to mock up the lines on it as well. Just, motivation. One of those things when you work all week and stuff, and so as I run into nothing but roadblocks apparently doing this. Parts are hard to get right now. For you guys that are buying parts, you'll know this. I've ordered head studs, but they don't have them in stock. We're going to use the expensive exotic ones just to try them out. The rocker bridges I had to wait for. It wasn't a huge deal. They just didn't have them in stock. The guy that I buy him, Randy from Hell on Wheels, that's where I buy my mat and stuff from. I just didn't have them in stock. They were coming in on a shipment. Not a big deal because I was waiting for the head studs anyway. And then the keepers were holding me back, so I have the keepers now. As soon as I can do that. As soon as I have the head studs, I'll put the keepers and the head studs in. We'll have that done. My injection pump gear, which is my own fault. I thought I had one. I did not have one, so I had to order one. That'll be here next week. I think I already talked about this earlier in the video, but I wanted to mock some of this stuff up. I might actually put the power steering and the vacuum pump in here, just see clearance and all that jazz. So anyways, I'll throw back in time lapse, and we'll catch you after that.
Kind of monkey around the pump and get the pump in there. But just to note, these lines never fit real great, so you will have to monkey with them.
All right, so I threw the pump on there, and something I wanted to mention, and I forgot about this. It's been a while. I got so much stuff going on, forgot. What did I do with that? Put it somewhere so I wouldn't lose it. So this fitting, which is on the back of the P pump, you have to take that off. Same with doing any P pump 24 valve, because it actually, this is where the oil is usually fed to a P pump. We're gonna have to put a plug on that side, and we're gonna have to run this in here. Now, something that you have to note when you're doing that is you need to limit the oil that's fed into that, or you'll overflow the pump, how much is supposed to be in the pump. So you're supposed to be a 75 thou hole in that. So you can buy them with restrictors, or you can just, what I usually do is just take the original, or one like this. You can, one that fits in there, because I don't think this one fits, it's a smaller one. What I do is I just put a little dab of weld on top of it. Well, I shouldn't say a little dab. I weld the end of it, and then I drill a 75 thou hole in it. So I put the lines on, pump's just sitting on here. I put the lines on, they're just sitting there, just to give you a visual, And then I put the front cover on because I'm going to tape some of that stuff off, because I'm going to do a little bit of cutting and welding here later. I got to cut these brackets off the frame. So I just wanted to cover everything up in the motor, just so I'm not getting crap in the motor. But I am going to, right now, I'm going to figure out my my power steering pump and vacuum pump. I'm going to put that in there. But first I may do this bracket, which I don't know if you guys will be able to see. This bracket, I have to build a bracket for here to hold the pump. So I'm going to do that. All right, guys, so we got a little bit of work done on the truck today. Not as much as I wanted to, but being that I'm waiting for parts, it is what it is. I got a bunch of stuff done that I did want to do, though. Obviously, you've seen in the video. We got the tranny mount just mocked in there, transfer case sitting where we need. We got the drive shafts measured. I just got the lines, basically, I just started them on there, pump sitting on, front case sitting on, just because it looks cool. And I want to tape it off because I got to do some cutting. I was going to do the bracket for the pump, but apparently I don't have any of those plates left, so I'm going to have to make some of those plates. Not a huge deal, but I got the vacuum pump that I'm going to use, I'm going to rebuild the vacuum pump. I will show that in a video. I have a new power steering pump to put on. I have new lines and all that stuff. So I will be running this truck on hydro boost, so that's the reason that I wanted to use this setup. It doesn't have a huge vacuum pump. I don't need a huge vacuum pump. So just to give you an idea of what we got going on. So this week, hopefully some of these parts show up, so we can start doing some of this stuff, because I'm, kind of hot and horny to get this thing rolling. So this week, as soon as the shocks show up, they're on back order, or we're on back order. Hopefully they'll show up this week. We'll do the shocks, which with delete plates. We'll get all of the suspension and all that stuff finished up. I'll get my arms in, pull David's out, and put the proper bolts and all that stuff, so the front end will be finalized. We'll get that all done. We'll get these brackets cut off, because that was just what was there before, and somebody goober welded it on there, which is horrid looking. But anyways, not everybody's a good welder, but it's just horrible looking. And it was not me. So, we're going to do the delete plates and all that stuff. Turbocharger, I would say, is still a couple of weeks away, which is okay, because I'm not that far into needing that baby anyway, but it'd be super cool to have it on there. We'll, do some other stuff as far as that goes. But you're going to, the drive shafts, I'll probably get done this week, so the drive shafts will be in. We'll do the tranny dipstick. I have one at home, I think I'm going to have to grab, I'll bring it. So we can just get that in there, so it's sitting in there, so, looks like stuff. And now I'm probably going to bring the short box in, now getting to the point. I'm going to bring the short box in, I'm going to pull the fuel tank out of it, because I need the fuel tank, obviously, to put in this one. I don't have to, so I'll have to do that. But I got to clean the frame up a little bit in here. I still have to run the brake line, the return fuel line to the tank. Yeah, I still have to do that. So I'll do that. I'm going to do the bracket. I got to get some other brackets and stuff, but I'll get that done anyways. And yeah, so that'll be, hopefully this week we'll be doing that, while we're still waiting on some parts, and I can get the return fuel lines hooked up and all that type of stuff. We'll get the brackets and adjustments and all that. So anyways, thanks for watching. Well, like, subscribe, hit me down in the comments, and check out my Patreon if you're interested in helping support the channel. Thanks, guys.